Hello. I want to bring your attention to a problem that happens with railguns against huge asteroids, which is obviously an issue for Prometheum ships once you get to the endgame. So the problem is that the targeting algorithm, which generally works really well, it tries to make it so that they target things that will not waste their damage. And in this case, I've made an arbitrary example where this has taken 1 health of damage. And what ends up happening is that wasting damage is seen as a higher priority than shooting at the closest target. Which makes sense, because if they prioritize the closest target, then health wouldn't matter. So what will end up happening, and there is a debug option for this, so selected target is, if I play and I mouse over, it shows that it targets the one that has more health. But this doesn't, like I said, this algorithm works well in general, but for railguns against huge asteroids, this is meaningless, because once you have railgun damage level 3 or whatever, you always one-shot with railguns. Not the rest of the damage from like lasers or explosive rockets or whatever is meaningless, because you'll never destroy a huge asteroid coming at you that way. So you need to shoot at you need to either shoot with a railgun shot every single huge asteroid, or cleave through them. Like if I have, if I have 2 asteroids back to back, even if this one, is like that, the railgun will shoot the one in the back, so that's something in the back and kills it anyway. So that's the only way you can really destroy the huge asteroids. You need to fire at every single one of them or cleave through them with a railgun shot. Now, because the railguns shoot, fairly slow, and they compete for space with collectors, in order to get the best Prometheum ship, you want to minimize how many railguns you use while still keeping your spaceship alive. And this is a problem. This is an unexpected behavior, or a not desired behavior anyway. And I'll show you a realistic example, which happened to me a few weeks ago, and there have been more, but sometimes, when you update, sometimes I don't know what changes the RNG of the asteroids, but things will just slightly change them, and then some load files will be different. And if you've ever tried to see what makes your spaceship take damage, sometimes you reload, change almost nothing. Like maybe you go to the editor so that you can pause, and it still will, the same thing won't happen. Other times it will still happen. But yeah, this is a case where the same thing does happen. So there is this huge oxide asteroid, and this railgun prioritizes huge oxides at all times. But it will not shoot at this one at all. It will keep shooting at ones that are further back, and you can see it in practice. That's second one, third one, the fourth one, the sixth one, and now it will just shoot through it. Oh, no, it doesn't. Now there's nothing else, so it actually shoots at it. So it targeted 7 different ones before it shot at this one. And now because the big ones are so close, the explosive rockets will destroy them, but they will also do damage. They do damage to the ship at the same time. Now, obviously, this didn't kill the ship, but what can end up happening is you get a huge that comes in between. Let's say over here. So you have a huge that comes over here and has a little bit of health, and this guy will, let's say this one keeps shooting to the left and this one keeps shooting to the right, and this never shoots like something back here in order to cleave through this one. And, once a huge asteroid like gets past the railguns, like it will just never stop. It will destroy your ship. Now, in practice, if you have a ship that generally survives, it can take even hundreds of hours of it running non-stop. It may kill millions of huge asteroids before this happen. But, if you space out your railguns damage, this will happen. I have thought of one curse solution that can at least keep your ship alive, which is to put like normal quality railguns in the back, like here, so that if a huge one does get all the way to here, you will at least have you will at least shoot it and kill it, and it won't destroy your whole ship. You will take a lot of damage, but there's a decent chance your ship will survive. You'll rebuild it fast enough if you have the materials in the hub or whatever it's called, the hub actually. So that is one solution without any cheating, if you consider what I'm about to show you as cheating, which is I made a mod. It's this one, the Railgun Target Improvement. It is a very simple mod. I'll show you the code for it. All it does is this, which is that the Railguns do not deprioritize based on health, or prioritize based on health, however you want to see it. That's it. That's the whole thing it does. And yeah, if I activate it, then you'll see that this won't happen. It will immediately target those asteroids instead. Now, of course, you still need to set the railguns to shoot at huge, ideally. I'll just go directly to this one. There's no point going to the editor again. And you'll see it will immediately target this one, yeah, because it doesn't care about its health anymore, and it is the closest huge oxide, and shoots at it. Now, ideally, what you would have is that instead of having these four, you would have a group. You just say target at the closest huge asteroid. There's no such thing. If we could have a blacklist, that could also work, because you would blacklist everything except the huge ones. And this, along with my mod, then they would have the optimal targeting algorithm that a player would want. They would just target the closest huge asteroid. Now, what I was using on this ship, although not on the ones on the corner, I guess not on these ones either. Yeah, I guess this is fairly old. Maybe I can find an older save, maybe this one. What I used to use is that and this has nothing to do with the mod anymore, it's just a bit of a tip, so if anyone doesn't want a tip as a spoiler, feel free to skip this. So I used a circuit that makes it so that the railgun will cycle through these four asteroids. So if I go to this one, you'll see that it will cycle through all four of them. You see now it's targeting a huge, and then the huge goes here, and here, and here. Every time it shoots. Now this did need a circuit for each single one, which is fine because it only updates at every shot. I don't think it takes much UPS because yeah, the circuitry and the conditions are only checked every time it shoots, so it's fine. And if you want to see how it works, like it's not that important, but it also uses this specifically. I can also upload this if anyone is interested, but yeah, you basically have this plus you add one to all, and this is kind of the signal that you end up having. And if it shoots, come on. Come it's only, oh yeah, because it's modulo 4. Anyway, so I was using this, and this still had a problem because what ends up happening is that you may get a huge asteroid over here. Well, I guess what this should do in theory is that you're guaranteed to shoot at the closest one. In the worst case, once every 4 shots. Once every 4 shots, if it's a single railgun, there's 4 enemies, it will shoot at the closest one. Guaranteed, right? I could actually, maybe, hold on, maybe if I blueprint this first. I can go and go to this one again. I can show you what I mean by that. So let's paste this down here. Let's delete all the extra fluff. All right. All right. So right now the lowest priority is huge carbonic. Although I don't remember how it cycles, so I think it may switch to huge carbonic next. So let's do promethium. So if I do, let's say I have a promethium here, and I have 1, 2, 3. Let's do it like that. And the huge promethium is over here. So the huge promethium is the closest. Shoots at that. Shoots at that. You see now the huge promethium is last. It will shoot at this one. And now, this is the fourth shot. It's guaranteed to shoot at the closest one. This is what I mean. So while that did guarantee it, the problem is that in practice, you don't have time to shoot 4 times sometimes before you get to the one that's closest. You just don't have the time to shoot, because in practice, I'll show you what I mean once this loads. Coding overloaded. Okay, that was weird, but anyway, I'm about to finish the video. So the huge asteroid that gets deprioritized may be all the way up to here. So from the moment it gets to here until it hits a ship, you can maybe fire 2-3 shots on average. So you don't have time to fire 4 shots and shoot it before it hits you. So I ended up changing it, and what I have now is that this will cycle only between metallic and oxide. The ones next to it will cycle between the other two, carbonic and huge, and carbonic and huge. Which means that now, if there is a huge metallic or oxide, this will shoot it, and it gets close to this will shoot it almost guaranteed. And then the other ones, like let's say I have one of the other ones coming straight for it, I have both this one and this one covering it. And this has worked better in practice. Now, even with the old system, my ship was only got damaged, like it took like hundreds of hours before they got damaged. But with this one, it's been over 200 hours with 3 ships flying non-stop, almost 1,000 trips maybe, and they haven't gotten damaged yet. Not killed anyway. They do get damaged, but that's for other reasons. So this cycling, which can probably be done with a simpler system than the one I have now. I think this may be better in practice. And at that point, you may say, well, why not just have the full 4 rotation? The full 4 rotation is a bit of a problem because, and have no circuits, but it's a problem because this is like, this guy is really far from this one, right? I don't know. At least with this one, you're guaranteed to shoot the 2 of them that are close. This is guaranteed to basically kill all of them from these 2 that get close. This one is guaranteed to do the same. So yeah, as long as I can cover this part, should be fine. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Yeah, if you think the mod is cheating, then I don't know. I mean, then I guess you can complain to the developers if you don't like the current algorithm, and if you don't want to cheat at all, you just want things to stay as they are, I guess you can do this, or just put more railguns here and have a worse promethium ship. That's it. Bye-bye.